What is going on, guys? I am LaserBolt and welcome to another class breakdown for the First Descendant. Today we're going to be taking a look at GLEY, one of the most interesting characters out of all the characters of the First Descendant, due to the fact that she's able to spam her abilities, but she still has to suffer a little bit of consequences for doing it. We're going to talk about all that, so if this sounds interesting, a like would be greatly appreciated. Let's get this video to 100 likes, and without further ado, let's take a look at GLEY. So what exactly is the playstyle when it comes to GLEY? Well, GLEY is a very interesting character, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, because she's able to use most of her health to be able to deal more damage. And it's kind of going to be those high risk, high reward type of characters, and you're definitely going to want to be willing to sacrifice a little bit of health to get a ton amount of damage out. With that being said, let's take a look at her skills. As you guys may already know, each First Descendant character comes with a total of 4 active skills and 1 passive skill. Like always, we're going to dive in and take a look at the passive skill because this kind of gives us an idea of what type of playstyle we can expect with her. Her passive skill is called Death Sensor, which comes at a cooldown and cost of 0, so that means it's always going to be active. Basically, what this is going to do is that enemies killed by GLEY drops life spheres, so it's going to be very important that we understand how we create the spheres, which last a total of 7 seconds in the field, will give GLEY not only health by 5%, but will also award GLEY with an item called Power of Life, which we'll talk a little bit later about, and you're able to have up to 10 Power of Lives. Now, with that being said, GLEY has kind of 2 modes that she's able to play with. One is called Berserker, which we'll talk a little bit later, and the other one's called Normal Mode. So these are 2 modes that she's going to be able to alternate from. But with her passive skill, she's only able to take a few advantages of the Normal Mode, which is that damage taken from any enemy is decreased by 4%. The HP recovery rate is going to change depending if you're in combat, which is going to be increased by 0.019 every 0.1 seconds. And if you're out of combat, it's going to go ahead and increase by 0.5 every 1 second. So your HP recovery is going to change depending if you're in combat or not in combat. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at her active skills. Alright, so one of her active skills is called Berserker. That comes at a cost of 0, and the cooldown here is 1 second. So that means you could pretty much use this skill anytime. Now, what does her Berserker skill do? It's going to allow you to enter a mode called Berserker, which is going to give any long-distance weapon an increment of 15% and a penetration by 45. It consumes 15% of your max HP immediately, and all HP recovery effect is decreased by 80%. So you're able to use this mode anytime you want and increase the damage of that weapon, but you're going to have to take a cost of your HP and how fast you're able to recover your HP. But don't fear, guys, because some active skills are actually going to be able to get our HP back, leading us to the second skill, which is called Life Extraction. This comes at a cost of 3, and the cooldown is every 15 seconds. What this is going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to recover HP by 20% for every enemy around an 8-meter radius. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you use this when there is a good amount of enemies around. In addition to that, this is also going to inflict enemies with different effects depending on what mode GLEY is in, whether it be normal or Berserk mode. Plus, you got to keep in mind that this is also going to consume 4 Power of Lives, which you have to keep and manage, or else you're not going to be able to use this because you constantly want to be producing Power of Life. Now, if you're in normal mode, meaning that you haven't activated Berserker, you're going to deal damage of skill attack of 31% and reduce 2% of damage inflicted by every 1 enemy for 10 seconds. Now, if you are on Berserker mode, you are going to deal damage of skill of 31, so the same. The only difference is that your skill attack is going to increase by 45% times maximum HP divided by the current HP. So whatever you have on your health, it's going to be kind of divided, and it's going to give you an outcome. So this is a good way to actually get a buff to do even more damage. Now, the next skill she has is the one that has the longest cooldown, called Requiem, and this is going to cost 0 with a cooldown of 62 seconds. What this is going to do, it's going to inflict a different type of effect depending on what state she is, whether she's in normal mode or Berserker mode, and this is going to consume 25% of her maximum health. But what exactly does this do? Well, on normal mode, it's going to create a 5-meter radius area for 5 seconds, which HP recovery is met by a maximum of 2% for every 0.42 seconds. If you are in Berserker mode, it's going to create a smaller radius of 2.5 for 5 seconds in which bullets are not consumed. So you can theoretically activate this and you won't be consuming any bullets that you're shooting. So it's a good way to save ammo if you're not in Berserker mode, it's a good way to get health back as well. The next skill is called Nosferatu. Now, this particular skill is very interesting because, once again, another very spammable skill. Cost of 0, cooldown is 1 second. This is going to allow you to switch her weapon into the, I'm just going to call it Nos. And what this is going to do, it's going to consume every power of life that you currently have with your character. Now, that's going to determine on how many bullets you actually get for this Nos effect. Now, if you have a total of 10, which is the max you have, then you'll have 10 bullets. If you only have 5, then you only get 5. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to inflict damage to the enemy depending on what type of mode the current enemy is. Now, there is a cap of when you can use this because you're going to need to have a total of 5 more power of lives, which immediately will also consume 15% of your max HP. Now, what exactly happens when you use this? Well, if you're in normal mode, it's going to stun the enemies that you hit with the Nos ability. In addition to that, the stun will automatically take place for a total of 5 seconds. If you are in Berserker mode when you actually activate this, it's going to inflict a total of 45% extra skill attack to the enemies that are actually hit by Nos. The skill attack will be increased by the max HP divided by the current HP by 3.3%. So this is yet another skill that's going to buff the damage, but it's also going to consume your health, and it's going to be very important that you have enough power of life activated to get the most out of these skills. Alright, so now we know the skills, let's talk about combos. So the first thing, guys, you're going to want to activate Berserker, giving you that 15% extra damage to our long-range weapons. In addition to that, you're going to activate Nos. This is going to go ahead and give you the ability, guys, to get 45% damage to skill attack and increase the skill attack with your maximum HP. Now, with that being said, you're going to want to make sure you get your health back. Now, in order to get our health back, we're going to activate live extraction. So we're going to look for a group of enemy, at least 2 and plus, to get a little bit of our health back that we consumed with both of those skills. Now, after we do that one, then we're going to go ahead and activate Requiem. Once again, getting a little bit of health back as well. Theoretically, at this mode, we can decide whether we want to be in normal mode or if we want to be in Berserk mode to be able to consume bullets or to recover more HP. And then it's just a matter of rinse and repeat. Definitely a very viable option. Now you know this, you're probably wondering, Laser, what weapon should I use when using the character? Of course, guys, for this character in particular, we're going to want to make sure we're using weapons that are long-distance weapons. That includes a scout rifle / pulse rifle. We also want to make sure we use a sniper rifle. And we also would like to definitely combo this with a rocket launcher. I think these are the most effective options. Or instead of a rocket launcher, you could use like a secondary weapon like an SMG to kill the little enemies around you, and just use your sniper and use your pulse rifle, scout rifle as your main weapons. GLEY is definitely a fun character to play with, especially, guys, if you want to make sure you're outputting a lot of DPS, but you also have to be very precautious of not only seeing how much your health you have, but in addition to how much power cells you have in order to be able to get the most out of the skills. Definitely a very fun character, especially if you want to hit those high damage numbers. Now, if GLEY does not have your playstyle, then you're definitely going to want to check out this video that's popping up right now on the screen, going over another Descendant that might suit your playstyle just a little bit better. If you're enjoying your content here on the channel, a like would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget, guys, if you want to go the extra mile, do consider becoming part of the Bolt Nation. As an incentive, we will be streaming the First Descendant. If you need help with any portion or any area of the game, you will be able to hop in and play with us due to the fact that the Bolt Nation ability will give you access to play with us early. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.